Have you ever watched Jurassic Park? If you have, I'm sure you got some of those same vibes when you laid your eyes on the Terrarium, on the new trailer for the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet DLC. Oh, how good it feels to say that, the new trailer. Anyway, just like in Jurassic Park, I'm expecting something to go wrong here. And I have my eyes on someone already. Yeah, you know it's time to speculate about who is evil. So hey, I'm Not So Ace Trainer, and what about Cyrano? Let's get into it. Not much is known yet about Cyrano. We are told he's a director and founder of the Blueberry Academy, something that he had to do in recent times, since we're told that the Blueberry Academy is pretty recent. We also know that he is a long-time acquaintance of director Clavel, which leads me to believe that they probably worked together in the past. We know Clavel worked as a researcher before becoming a director of the Academy, and we also know that he worked with Professor Sada and Professor Turu down there in Area Zero. Jack was likely also part of that, but there might have been more people. When I look at Cyrano though, I don't think researcher, but more incredibly rich guy that wants to do what classic rich guy villains do in movies, play God. It's impossible to look at the Terrarium and not be reminded of the Aether Foundation, but while there were hidden motives in what they were doing, the Foundation really did honor the goal of keeping hurt Pokemon safe and then returning them to the wild. They were also an artificial environment in the middle of the ocean, but their whole thing was completely different from the Blueberry's Terrarium. The Terrarium's sole purpose is not to help Pokemon, but actually to create an environment where strong trainers can learn and become more powerful. But how did they create a whole ecosystem down there in the ocean? Well, the answer might be, well, in the name, but also in the glowing things you have all over the place there. A terrarium is something that exists in the real world. It is an artificial ecosystem, usually closed in a glass container that can be accessed for maintenance. But that is a terrarium. This is a terrarium. That missing R changes everything and basically tells us that this whole thing is powered by Terra Energy, just like the supposed time machine in the Great Crater of Paudia. In fact, if we look at its center, we see some kind of formation that seems to be made out of all those glowing Terra crystal-like things, almost as if it is acting as a crater as well. All of this new information paired together with the fact that we had this shown to us during the reveal trailer in February, the same formula that is behind the professors, basically seals the deal. They are studying and working with Terra Energy as well. Apparently we are invited to the Blueberry Academy by Cyrano himself when he comes to Paudia after hearing about our adventures. It is not because we are, strong champion ranked trainers, which should matter for a battle academy. No, it is because of our adventures. Like our adventure down there in Area Zero. So I'm thinking that while our battle abilities surely play a role in the Academy's interests, our knowledge and the Paradox Pokemon in our possession might play an even bigger role. We know that only the professor is down in Area Zero. No one is allowed there pretty much, since what's inside the crater could pose a big threat to them and everyone outside. I mean, even Ryford, our history teacher, says she would love to go there if it was possible to do so, so it isn't possible. The group of people allowed to go down there is surely really small. And I'm assuming it doesn't include Cyrano. So what's the next best thing? Getting us, someone that went down there and that surely has seen quite a bit of what that place has to offer. Now, the question that is raised about all of this is, how do they even know about the Terra Energy? Everything feels so hidden, with us even only learning how to use it, but not really what it actually is. Sure, the Scarlet and Violet books talk about the crystals, but it kind of stops there. There's that strange page, but without access to the crystals, how could they have developed all of this? Well, I can think of two ways. Either they have Terrapagos, though at the end Terrapagos seems to be in a place that is very much like Area Zero. Or someone is getting them either the knowledge or the crystals. So let's look at the possibilities. We had Clavel, possibly Jack, and then the two professors. They worked in Area Zero. The professor from our game is supposedly dead, and the opposing one abandoned them when Arven was born. While before I thought that would be the founder of the Blueberry Academy, I now only have two options for this thing. Either they went crazy and started writing the occulture, or they distanced themselves from the obsession of the game's professor and took the offer of an incredibly rich guy to create a paradise for Pokemon and trainers. A paradise where themselves, the other professor and Arven could live in peace. Still, Cyrano then hears about our adventure, how there are incredibly powerful Pokemon down in the crater, with actual proof now. And as he wants to create an environment that makes strong trainers learn and likely become more powerful, he wants those Pokemon too. He, through others, wants power. But the opposing professor cannot get that. Neither of them have access to the crater. Basically, no one does, and so they need someone who has. We, the main character. I feel like Cyrano wants the power because if he had that source, the PACOS, nothing would be happening in Paudia, nothing in the crater, the time machine would have been turned off a long time ago, and we just now did that and raids are still happening, something is still in Paudia. They likely found a way to replicate the power, and to me, that was done through the little turtle. In a way, they did what the game's professor did, but they didn't have as much power, they didn't have the source. And Cyrano, well, he wants more. And if you don't believe me, look at this name. Sure, Cyrano is likely cyan plus arándano, which is Spanish for blueberry. In fact, his Spanish name is mirtilo, which is what we call blueberries here in Portugal. But Cyrano is also the name of a crater in the moon. One that is on the far side of the moon, the dark side of the moon, the one that is always hidden. If that and the fact that it has a whole Jurassic Park type of thing going on doesn't make you think that Cyrano is hiding something, well, you probably don't overthink things like I do. But anyway, that is all I have for you today, the first new theory out of the new DLC trailer. That feels so good to say. But what about you? Do you believe there's something about Cyrano? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content and also ring the bell soon when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media and Twitch. I stream there Wednesday to Sunday, not Saturday, or join our Discord. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.